Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all fandoms, welcome to the Ferret and Raccoon podcast, episode 21. I am Ace.
I'm the Angry Raccoon.
And we have entered the second podcast of the Dark Month.
Yes.
We are continuously staying spooky.
Yeah. Oh, hear that shit?
Exactly, we got ghosts haunting us now.
Yeah, this one's getting real spooky. Listen to this one with the lights off. Yeah, so we're back for, as Ace has already said, the second one, maybe third within this month. I mean, everyone kind of loves October because it's about celebrating the fact that it's going to get cold and dark.
That's the thing, you say that really sarcastic, ironically, but I actually like it when it's colder and darker.
I like it to the extent of I don't have to get up early, in a sense, because I think this is the time when we gain an extra hour of sleep, I do believe.
I think so, yeah.
Yes. I could be incorrect, but that's the only benefit. So you could kind of go to bed a little earlier, a little later if you wanted to, but it's up to you.
I like it because I can just throw lots of clothes on. It's like I'm a giant marshmallow, and it's perfectly fine.
To some extent. I mean, this month is going to be busy for everyone because you've got Halloween. You know, it's the start of the triple threat of festive stuff. So you got Halloween, Thanksgiving, then the big one being Christmas, and then if you wanted to, you could kind of put in Black Fridays.
Oh yeah.
I say Fridays because there's probably going to be multiple ones, and Cyber Mondays as well and stuff like that.
I always forget about Cyber Mondays.
Just Mondays being made.
And then Boxing Day sales.
Yeah, that's usually where most of my birthday stuff comes from.
Pretty much the same, actually.
I mean, our birthdays are very close to the beginning of the year, but that's for another time anyway. So we're finally back, and we're going to start off how we have been for the last couple of weeks by asking each other what we've been doing in some sense. So the thing that I've been watching has mainly been films of the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
A few I can talk about, and a few I'm not going to talk about because we may see those in future projects at some point. But the main thing I'm going to talk about is I saw the film, or finally got to see the film, Hotel Transylvania.
Yeah.
Not technically an Adam Sandler film. He didn't really do anything in this film other than star in it, which is fantastic because the film actually ends up being a good film.
See, that's the thing, I've heard lots of good things about it itself, but when I heard Adam Sandler, I was like, oh no. But he's only voicing a character, so...
He's become a pretty big stigma within films today.
Yeah.
So essentially the main plot of Hotel Transylvania is essentially a throwback to all the monster movies, monsters of their time and past and present, all that kind of stuff, including a few new ones. And essentially Adam Sandler plays Dracula, the Dracula, and he has a daughter called Mavis. She's called Mavis. I'm not sure where that origin of the name comes from, but
I can't think of it.
Whatever. And essentially he builds this hotel for all the monsters because they seem to have delusional ideas that all humans just basically want to kill monsters and destroy them and all this kinds of stuff. So it basically revolves around Mavis's 118th birthday.
Okay.
And Dracula kind of wanted to protect his daughter because he doesn't technically know what humans are about. He's just kind of shielded everyone away from it, and things get incredibly tricky when a human does stumble upon the hotel, and then just shit goes everywhere pretty much from there on. Really nicely animated for a Sony picture.
Yeah.
Dare I say, well voice acted.
Okay. So he's putting effort in for this one?
You can tell Adam Sandler is genuinely... Adam Sandler's being Adam Sandler. You can kind of tell it's him at some points, but he's putting an effort.
Okay.
And then you got other people like David Spade plays the Invisible Man, which I think is hilarious, who has curly blonde hair or something like that.
That's cool.
And you have was it the Wolfman played by what's his name? I'm struggling to remember his name.
Buscemi.
Buscemi, yes. And you have I forget the guy who's I always forget his name, but he was the Paul Blart Mall cop or whatever it was.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either.
Yeah, I'm struggling to draw it a blank because I just kind of remember. I just remember, voice. I don't necessarily remember names. CeeLo Green is the Mummy.
Okay.
And then who's the other one who's worth mentioning? The main human. The main human. He's played by Andy Samberg.
Oh yeah.
Most people more likely know him from Brooklyn 909. Is it?
I can never. That's the thing. I watch it, but I forget.
It's 99 something.
Or Brooklyn 909. I can't remember it. something.
You know, the Hills 90210, basically.
Yeah, Brooklyn 90210. We got it.
Yeah, and then and then I completely forget who voices Mavis. She's a pop star or something like that.
Okay.
I don't think she was a like a teen, not a teen, but like a Disney star. But she's someone like Vanessa Hudgens or someone like that. Or
okay.
Someone along
Adine
those
Giselle.
lines. Adine Giselle. Yeah, it was voiced by her before Frozen, made her into this amazing stuff. But I'd recommend the film. It's actually got some. It's fastly animated. It's got some good jokes. It just works. It's perfect for Halloween in some sense for the kids, and it just works as an animated film. I've seen a lot of people give this film negative reviews. I guess because they were like, "Oh, I'm a fucking adult," and this, a lot of reviewers seem to think that all kids' films are not as good as, I guess, grown-up films in some sense, so they kind of just seem to go, "Oh, it's a kids' film. It's tolerable." But no, films that are technically, and I use quotation marks, kids' films can be very good.
See, the problem is I can imagine some of those reviewers giving good reviews to Minions.
Yeah, I personally think if you work within a journalistic environment, I think you should really let the person who has kids handle those kinds of reviews. I know there's one guy in particular who let's just use one example within IGN, and he has a few kids, and when they review some of the Kinect games, he reviews them with his kids, and he lets that basis around his review. I don't know whether that helps or anything, but I'd imagine it's something to some extent.
That's actually a smarter way of going about it.
I would say so. But yes, that's what I've been watching. I've also watched a good few 5 films, but I can't necessarily, and rewatched, so I can't necessarily speak about too many of them. But I'll pass it over to you, Ace.
So I guess what I've been playing?
I know what you've been playing, but what have you been playing?
I've been playing one of my favourite game series, the Mass Effect series. I absolutely love it. I love the writing, I love the characters, the story. I think it's great. I just finished Mass Effect 2, so I'm on Mass Effect 3 at the moment.
You played them all before, yes?
Yeah, okay. I've completed them all before ages ago. That was on my old PlayStation. So I technically don't have the saves on this one. That's what I'm going back through.
Same with my freaking Rayman Legends.
Oh yeah. Still no proof.
I have the proof.
No. But it's been fun going back through, noticing stuff I didn't notice before. Lots of references and missions I never even did before. That was cool. And Mass Effect 3 is... I remember the complete sheer outrage of it, but that was literally just because the ending. No one ever remembers the good stuff.
No, I'm well aware it's a good ending, but I think a lot of people were very, very upset because it was basically like, you delivered 3 solid games and now you just straight up just fucked up the ending. I mean, you have to remember, they always say in writing, usually the things people remember the first, or the things you need to worry about first, is the start and the end. If you fuck those 2 things up, that will leave a bad impression on whatever you've done. You can write 1,000 books. You could write Citizen Kane. That ending's shit. People will regard it as shit.
Yeah, but that's funny enough. With Mass Effect 2 is clearly the best one of the trilogy. It's got the best characters, best writing, best story. And I'm not sure yet if Mass Effect 3 or 1 is the second best. So
maybe that's something you can return to in a future video, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely. I'm only finished the prologue of Mass Effect 3, which so far has been 4 hours. I'm enjoying it.
That's cool. That's cool to hear. I mean, it's I've not played the Mass Effect series mainly because I have no idea at what point do I need to start in any kind of sense, because they look like the kind of games where I'm gonna stay for the story, but I have a feeling that I'm just going to nod off when I'm playing the gameplay of it, in a sense. Like, it looks really interesting, really cool, really creative, looks like a good, well, not even, I won't say good, looks like a great attempt at sci-fi. And it just seemed, I think I need, if it was an anime or a TV series or a book, I think I'd be on it.
You might want to watch, I think it's called Mass Effect Paragon Lost, and it's set between Mass Effect 2 and 3. It's an animated movie.
Okay, what is, in what sense is it animated? Like CG, 2D?
Oh, like 2D. I think it's very anime style. So, it's got one of the characters that joins you in Mass Effect 3, called James Vega. I need to watch that myself, but I've heard good things.
Street Fighter.
He's a great character. He's voiced by Freddie Prinze Jr. A lot of people seem to don't like him because he's like the faux hawk tribal tattoo bro. But he's very entertaining.
Freddie Prinze is a great voice actor, but
he really is.
Okay, well, I think you got the next story as well, or the first.
On to news. If anyone's watched Back to the Future, which I'm pretty sure everyone has.
I don't think people have.
Seriously?
I think a lot of people that are actually hyped about this have never seen Back to the Future.
Okay.
I personally feel that.
Alright. Well, those who have. Pepsi Perfect is being released. But it's not, for one thing, a full, like, standard retail release.
No.
It's not going to be everywhere, which... It's quite sad. I would have liked that. It's being released to celebrate October 21st, which is when... Is it the first Back to the Future came out?
Part 2. Part 2 is when he goes to 80s future.
Yeah.
In 2015.
Yeah, it's going to be released in 6,500 limited edition bottles.
To which, that good, I think... I can't remember, like... I know back in Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, I think they were giving out about 1,000 or so to anyone who dressed up as Marty McFly.
That's
so
brilliant.
Already there's 1,000 floating around, and the rest are going to be put on their website, if I'm correct.
Okay. They will probably go in seconds.
Have you seen some of the prices on them?
No, I haven't.
Ooh, people selling them for over hundreds.
Jeez.
So, I mean, what are they retailing at in general, though?
Retailing is about $20.15.
Oh.
Yeah. So, if it's probably just going to be a collector's item, but...
I mean, we must state, it is actually Pepsi inside it.
Yeah,
like, it's not just the fucking glass.
I mean, I think a few people said it tastes like even better than normal Pepsi, which I love Pepsi, to be honest, so...
I don't know, because even then, would you... Okay, so let's say if you had the money and you got one of them, would you even drink it?
Yes.
You would drink it?
I would drink it.
Obviously, you'd keep the glass, though.
Yes,
and just fill it with, like, I guess, coloured water or something like that.
I would fill it with coloured water or just use it as, like, a glass to fill with water and drink every once in a while.
People just going gaga over Back to the Future, a film that I guess people only just realised exists.
Well, it's because the whole 90s kid hype thing is over, so now we're doing 80s kid hype. It's like, I'm an 80s kid, I was born in 2005.
Yeah. I love those little children. Jeez, man. It's fairly ridiculous to some extent, but whatever. I mean, it's a great film, but still, I honestly don't care. Alright, so we're going to start off things differently. Well, continue things differently, because already, if you can hear the steam coming in, the Konami bullshit train has come early this time on the podcast. And that is the fact that there may possibly be a pachinko machine based on Metal Gear Solid.
First things first. We called this.
Yes, we called this from a while ago.
As soon as we heard about the Silent Hill stuff, we were like, this is happening.
Yeah. I mean, not that we're going to try and say that we were the only people who called it. I'm sure other people did, but I'm pretty sure if you look back, one of us said it at some point within one of the podcasts. So, what we know so far is that it was spotted by Otaku, which is almost as bad, that essentially we have a new trademark, basically by the Polar Entertainment. Well, sorry, Konami's Polar Entertainment, being the KPE, which sounds like a very shady organisation.
It really does.
Under the name Big Boss, which links to video games, board games, smartphone games, medal games. I'm not quite sure what medal games are. I've never seen one.
Never heard of that either.
Slot machines, and everyone's favourite, pachinko machines.
See, right now, if I could, I'd do the slot machine joke thingy that Jim Sterling keeps doing, but...
Pull the lever!
No, it just has the Silent Hill pachinko machine. Dun, 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 dropping
Yeah,
thing.
because they all sound like they're all noisy and obnoxious. And there's also a picture that basically somewhat confirms this. I mean, although this trademark exists and there's no, like, confirmation this is happening, I wouldn't fucking put it past Konami that they're already doing this. I mean... If anything, I'd be surprised if this was fake.
Yeah. To be honest, it could be like the new April 1st if it is fake, but it's highly unlikely. Konami want that money for doing nothing.
Yeah, basically, and that's a great way to put it. I mean, for how long have we talked about Konami? I think now it's got to the point where even if they were to be like, oh, we still have a fans, I think it's too late.
Yeah.
You've already released the game that they wanted to subpar, quality.
Yeah.
And now you've gone too far now. Not in the sense of like pissing people off. You've gone too far to the point where there's almost no return. Capcom could return.
Yeah.
Capcom still at least understood it had games and franchise and still tried to make fans. Hence why they did the whole bullshit with Breath of Fire 7, putting it on the just basically calling some random app game that. But at least they've at least pulled it back together, and we'll be talking about Capcom in a sec. But for the most part, Jesus Christ, I mean,
I think it's just pure apathy for Konami at the moment. It's like I couldn't care unless it makes me laugh. That's about it.
And it will later on in this podcast. But that's for time. The next thing we're going to be talking about, shifting almost gears, is the fact that we don't usually talk about games we're actually somewhat interested in, mainly because I'd say at least one of us is very negative about games today.
Okay.
I wonder who that could be. But we're going to be talking about Ubisoft's next Far Cry game, already coming out. And that is titled Primal.
Okay. Yeah. We both watched the trailer. I think, did I send it to you or did you I think we both sent it to each other, but we had already watched it.
Possibly. There was like a slight, I wouldn't say miscommunication, but
yeah.
I don't know, we're both on point.
Yeah.
So basically, Far Cry number 5, it essentially takes place within the Stone Age, the early man generation of life as we know it, depending on if you're a Christian or not.
Yeah.
Because cavemen didn't exist, apparently, according to the Bible.
The most sentient human of the time, basically. Like, I think it's about the time when they started working together. That's what they're doing with this game.
Yes. So essentially, as far as we know, just from a few interviews that have been launched, you're mainly going to be hunting.
Yeah.
You'll be fighting off other tribes. You'll become the leader of a main tribe. Nothing terribly original regarding a Far Cry game, but at least just seeing some of the people who actually work on that game, they seem to be really stoked about this idea. Especially the fact that an idea that a lot of people wanted in Far Cry is to fight dinosaurs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, probably one of the reasons Blood Dragon was... I mean, all of Blood Dragon was amazing, but the fact that you got to fight a giant weird lizard thing, that was fun.
It was great. I mean, technically a new genre of creatures or species, but this game looks kind of cool. I'd be very interested to see if they actually pull it off. I mean, there's going to be no guns in this game.
Yeah, that's the thing I was gonna say. During this, I was watching it and it was like, okay, you got spears that you're throwing.
It'd be funny if they're hilariously infinite.
Yeah, that's. I was gonna say, if they're not infinite, which would be funny, you're gonna have to rely a lot more on melee combat for this one.
Yeah.
Which I think was partially confirmed with the end of the trailer, where you see the other tribe running at you and you kind of block. So a possible Skyrim melee style, like not full Skyrim, but that kind of idea.
There's some great stuff they can do with this. Yeah. I mean, I guess they're mainly saying, oh, you can hunt down the mammoth and get its meat and fur and all that. So I can imagine, your status being this, like, fur-covered, bone-wearing mask, like, character towards the end of the game. But I have to say, it looks fun. It looks at least somewhat original to some extent.
It's kind of got an original setting, like, for gaming, because you don't see Stone Age setting a lot.
It's usually something that you just kind of, you're there for a bit. Yeah. I mean, a good example of one of the more recent times I can think where you went to the Stone Age period was in Sly Cooper 4, where you're travelling through time and you do make a stop within the Stone Age period, and you're there for a good decent amount of time, but at the same time it wasn't like, oh, Sly Cooper in the Stone Age time. No. So it's something that's always glossed over. It's a writing cliche or something, but whatever. All right, I'm gonna let you take the next story, which basically involves more Marvel stuff and more confirmations and sequels and all this jargon.
So back to Ace's favourite topic, basically being superheroes. Now, minor spoiler for the movie Ant-Man.
Yes,
just in general.
Be nice about it as well.
The sequel to Ant-Man, which will be coming out in July 6th, 2018, as part of Marvel's Phase 3, entitled Ant-Man and the... Now, spoiler here for the next 5 seconds. The Wasp. Spoiler over.
Yeah.
Okay? So, yeah, it's... happy that the character's going to be in another movie. I mean, I liked Ant-Man. I thought it was fun.
I mean, it was hinted at toward the end, and it's fairly obvious from the points where that character is shown in the film. I was like, okay, I guess.
Considering they said the character wouldn't be in Civil War, which I was kind of a bit...
That's a bit strange, yeah.
Yeah, they said the fitting for the costume had been all fine, but they weren't appearing in there, so I was kind of like, okay, weird.
Just a quick off topic, the people appearing in Civil War is very random.
It is. It's kind of odd.
it feels like it's going to be a bit too much. But we've already talked about that, and
Yeah.
we'll probably be talking about that again later on.
Yeah,
In
but
the future.
I'm happy for this. Another thing that they mentioned is 3 untitled films for the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
No idea what they could be.
I'm already speculating one of them is going to be a Spider-Man sequel.
Well, not to be rude, but yeah, duh. But like,
Yeah. So the other 2, that's the ones you've got to kind of think about. Which one could possibly be a sequel to if one of the others, if they're really well done.
I mean, I don't want any more sequels.
No, I don't either. But it's potentially that. But I would like She-Hulk.
She-Hulk could be cool if we see very little of She-Hulk. I think that's the best way She-Hulk could work, because we've already got Hulk who's like, oh, I'm gonna smash you. I think if we had a She-Hulk film where it's almost like what I guess people wanted Daredevil to be, where it's like actually a court case, I think that'd be really great. Not that she goes out, hulks out, and then destroys whoever, you know, obviously won the court case illegally, but I'm saying if we get very little of actual She-Hulk in the She-Hulk film, I think it could work to their benefit, to some extent.
Considering, I mean, that's the thing, most of the time, the character is She-Hulk during the court case. And it's to show a superhero, like a superhuman representative of superhuman, because she usually does superhuman cases.
And justice.
Yeah. So she could possibly defend the rights of, like, let's say Ant-Man ends up doing something in Civil War. So she could be defending his right as a superhuman in a court case.
I bet they would do that.
Yeah.
I bet at the end of Civil War, oh, anyone call She-Hulk? Comes in with a briefcase and glasses.
I think the character's called Linda Waters. It'd be like, call Linda Waters, we need her.
Well,
like,
not quite like that. It's going to be, call in, turns to the camera, Linda Waters.
Yeah.
More like that.
They've done nice bits before where they've just mentioned like Stephen Strange offhand without it being obvious.
Well, I bet DC will probably do a much more. Yeah. I'm pretty sure DC's going to. I'm sure at the end of
Arthur Curry, and people are like, who the hell is that?
Who the fuck is that? No, you have to remember they won't pick anyone they don't know, so they'll probably be like at the end of Batman v Superman is like, you said his name was the Joker?
Yeah. Literally, there's a man walking around. He has green hair.
No, or they'll do, or he's like, there's a man out there. He's a real Joker.
Da, 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 da.
Oh man, I mean, if I wouldn't know any better, you'd think we were writing the film.
No.
Oh,
are we ghostwriting for their bullshit?
Maybe. Oh wow, speaking of bullshit. Back to games. So, quick question, and this is kind of directed at the audience and you, Ace. Do you give a shit about the Rise of Tomb Raider?
No.
Have you ever cared about it?
No.
This game in particular, not the previous one.
No, I cared for the first one because I want to get that. This one, I've got no interest.
Okay. Fair enough. I get the feeling that a lot of people like that, and I don't think it's just because of the fact that, if you didn't already know, it's coming out on X1 first, and people who have PC and PS4 have to wait a year, and they'll just be getting like a definitive edition. Mainly because Square Enix is, close to being one of the worst video game companies. Very, very close.
I think they're between the Capcom and the Konami level.
No, Capcom's gone down.
That's why I said between them. Like,
but that's a big fucking gap. You do know that. Where Capcom is right now.
I know.
Because I would put Capcom near, some of the better ones. I mean...
Oh no, like, Capcom's got closer to the good one of the bunch.
Yeah, it's like the start of good.
Yeah.
And then obviously you descend into bullshit. I think Konami's like third almost, next to like Microsoft and Sony, and then EA. But it's pretty bad. But essentially what we're getting at is the fact that Rise of Tomb Raider is going to be having microtransactions in the game. Now, coming from someone who's played the first game, let me rephrase myself. Coming from the person who's played the reboot, there's not a lot of guns in this game, and it's mainly craft based and all that kind of stuff. But essentially, they're calling these, modification items expedition cards, and they're basically going to let people buy additional things like armors, perks, and just being able to, like, for example, being able to bandage yourself, just like that. So basically, pay to win.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know what it reminded me of when I heard this? Dead Space 3.
Yeah. Oh boy, don't talk to me about Dead Space 3. That game pissed me off big time.
But it's the same idea. You could do the stuff in the game, but it's like, no, just buy it and you've got everything done.
I mean, I'm guessing that's what they're getting at. I know there was a bit of a bullshit quote where they're like, oh, these things will, create like funny outcomes, and they're a bit like almost like in a slot machine kind of way, but it's just another way for them to experiment to get your money, guys. So please do not fall for this kind of bullshit.
Funny enough, this actually, like, I had an epiphany the other day about microtransactions, and it was, microtransactions are the modern day of, like, quarter swallowing arcade machines. Because they intentionally do the stuff so you have to keep putting money in. So, like, putting the games too high a level, making you intentionally buy stuff. It's like the modern day equivalent, but those were more obvious about it. Yeah,
like you could physically see your money disappearing. But, I mean, I just think I think the funny thing about microtransactions is, unfortunately, it looks like they're going to be here to stay. But at the same time, they seem to be getting more and more outrageous and pointless.
Yeah.
Because the whole point, I would assume, of what you'd consider a Tomb Raider is to fucking find things.
Exactly.
It defeats the whole purpose of the game.
Yeah.
I can understand if you're a 6-year-old child and you're really struggling with the game, you shouldn't be playing the game. But it's just, frankly, in my opinion, microtransactions just comes from the perspective of a dying industry just trying to cling on to life and basically exploiting the weak. If you want to consider yourself the weak, by all means, buy the £30 season pass they've already confirmed and spend all your parents' money on that. That's fine by me.
That actually reminded me of something brilliant. I think it was on Twitter. Okay, Kanye West was moaning about in-app purchases.
Yeah.
And a lot of comments were like, how much did Northwest spend?
Yeah.
And I thought that was hilarious.
It's kind of true, and I think at the same time, I mean, just a quick question. Kanye West has kind of been a bit hit and miss with a lot of people regarding his music and his,
No, but I feel bad for him because
he's married to that hag?
Well, not necessarily that, but the fact that his child spent all that money so easily on in-app purchases.
It's extremely easy.
Yeah, it's so simple.
It's very easy because there's no restrictions. There's no. Where's the password? Well, sometimes they do bring up the password, but if the child knows the password, they can just keep playing away.
Exactly.
I mean, there are a lot of cases. I think the ironic thing was he was going on Twitter saying, "Oh, it's bullshit. It's this. No company should do this." You know what? Props to him for just a quick second. That's fine. But on the flip side, do you know how much money his fucking wife has made off her game?
No, I know.
Yeah, about a good $5 million just through microtransactions.
Her game was awful.
Yeah. This is essentially what happens, Square Enix and fans of Square Enix, when essentially they decide to go sell out. You lose fucking control of your IP.
Yeah,
that's what happens. That's one thing I'm completely terrified about.
That's the problem. Their product, or their intellectual property. Sorry, it just loses all respect. No one's going to care anymore.
Yeah, they've lost a lot of respect for it, and I mean,
no one's going to buy it anymore. Then
I think Square Enix has lost a lot of respect. Microsoft as well, but at the same time, it's just, I mean, I'm talking to more of the younger people. I mean, the idea of selling out is very different to what kids think. They think when people sell out, they think, they just want the money. And yes, it is about the money, but a lot of you kids need to realize that when you get older, you're going to need that money. That money is something, but when you're selling out pointlessly, that's when you should be making a fuss about it. I mean, it does, hinder work. It does, especially within the, when directors sell out, you can always tell when they sold out because the film is never very good.
Yeah, they lose creative control, and the studios end up saying, no, we need this in it, it needs to appeal to more, and we need more money from it.
And there's a love story in it.
Yeah, exactly.
But, very, I would say very sad, but then again, I remember I don't care.
Yeah. Yet again...
Well, actually, now I don't care. Let's move on.
Another case of just pure apathy now.
Something I do kind of care about is more Street Fighter news.
Oh, yes.
Street Fighter 5. Now, I should mention that we're going to somewhat be getting the reveal of the last 5-ish, 4-ish characters who are going to be in the main vanilla game. We do know they're going to be unlockable characters, but these are the ones that you're going to get from start.
Okay.
Now, we had the next character who is a brand new character, being Lauren, who is Brazilian, and she has like this kind of...
I thought it was Laura.
Laura?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Laura,
okay,
almost the same word. Okay, yeah, so we have her. She's essentially a Brazilian, I think, kickboxer or something like that.
Yeah.
And she's essentially a female Blanca.
That's what I was thinking exactly.
Because she does have, like, she's a grappler. Like, it looks like almost all her combos end on a grappling move.
She did have some, like, slide and roll kind of moves as well, didn't she?
Yeah, and she's very grappler, and she has, like, electric shock kind of moves. Other than the fact that she's a brand new character, I thought it was very interesting going into they actually confirmed what her name was. Her second name, Misuda.
Okay.
To which a lot of Street Fighter fans were, okay, that's a bit strange that a Street Fighter character has a second name. Because Masuda sounds very familiar to a certain character in Street Fighter 3.
Okay.
Being Sean.
Right.
Yeah. So yes, it is confirmed she is his older sister.
Okay.
Which makes people go, oh shit, is Sean going to be in Street Fighter 5? Are we finally going to get another character from Street Fighter 5 in this game?
Oh,
and I mean...
Street Fighter 3. Yeah.
From Street Fighter 3, which I think would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be... I mean, that's the thing. If that happens, then I definitely want either Necro or 12 or Q, because... They're some of my favourites from the games. I like the quirky characters, even if I'm not good at playing them.
Yeah, like Skullmania. Like, even I was surprised that Rainbow Chan was in the game as well. I mean, she's a very just bizarre as hell character. But I think this somewhat confirms that he is going to be in this game. Otherwise, they wouldn't have bothered giving her that name. But
well, it could just be tying in family-wise, but it does put some speculation. It might be put in.
And another thing that people have also theorised is the fact that compared to some of the other Street Fighter games, this is feeling more like a sequel because we can actually see time has passed.
Yeah. Hence, like, I think one of the alternate costumes for Ryu was the shirtless with a beard, and I thought that was a great modern design.
Like an old Ryu, and then also the fact that that Charlie is in the game. A lot of people don't know he fucking died because he was too powerful. So the fact that he's back obviously confirms that that's taking place after a game. Like, a lot of them kind of blend into the point of they could just be happening all at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
But so really still excited about this game. I can't wait for it to launch.
Yeah. Unfortunately, some bad news now. Shovel Knight, the physical release, has been delayed.
By not that much.
Well, yeah, not that much, but it's just one of those kind of things. It was said by the is it the Yacht Club website?
Yacht Club, yeah.
Yeah. That the release is now the 30th of October in
for us,
Europe. Yeah. And the 3rd of November in America.
Which is not too bad. It's like a week.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not so bad. It's just... I mean, the reason they gave is they needed to update the disc and the DLC for it.
Yes, being the Plague Knight DLC that's just launched, I think, which is very rare when a company actually wants to polish off their games nowadays.
No, it's a really good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was trying to think if there was anyone else that did that recently. My mind's drawing a blank. Cause I
can't think of anyone who actually... well, I'm sure there are people who do make sure their games are solid on the day, but, a lot of people, worry about... I think the more recent example would be the fact that, like, Batman Arkham... Arkham Knight Rider finally is finally back on the PC.
Oh,
and it's still fucking broken.
I didn't know. I swear it's not out now again.
Oh,
it's out
coming
late
back.
October.
It's because they took it down because it was so bad, and
hopefully it's better.
You best hope.
But it's also gone up, increased in price by about £5.
By about £5, but the game was at cheap anyway. I mean, in America you're paying $25 now.
Yeah.
In England you're paying $20.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually, being re-reminded of this when I pre-ordered it. It's a free pre-order, guys.
Yeah,
it's a free pre-order because it's so cheap for a boxed game with all the downloadable content, exclusive content. It's a booklet, and now they've also thrown in the soundtrack, a digital download to the soundtrack, which is ace.
Yeah, it's me.
Pretty much. Well, you're awesome, so
yay! I feel so happy right now. More bad news for the Shovel Knight, unfortunately.
Yeah, still sticking with it.
The Xbox One release has been cancelled. Apparently, it was because publishing policies on that platform that are totally beyond our control, which Microsoft are fucking up again.
Yeah, I've been actually reading into a lot of the because this is actually going to somewhat link to the next story I'm about to take care of, but there's linked to the fact that Microsoft they don't like to play nice, basically, and they're fucking themselves over for the most part, and I already know why it's not there. It's because they went, hey, we're releasing this physical release, it's going to have the DLC, and they're like, can we charge for that? And they're like, no, we don't want to.
Yeah.
And they went, fuck it, no! Basically.
But, I mean, that's the thing, it just reminds me of when the people were talking about working with Microsoft and how restrictive they were.
You get chills.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Like, they just took over everything and like, no, we can't do that.
Yeah, I mean, last podcast we had the fact that an indie studio is breaking away from Microsoft, which you'd think that with indie games being all the rage nowadays, having a publisher who would, hopefully support your game.
Yeah.
But you know what? Still, I still keep my opinion. Good for them. But even then, watching a certain Let's Players video, they were talking about the fact how people were asking, I think the guy we're about to talk to, Phil Spencer, why Final Fantasy, 14 isn't on the X1.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, it all has to do with licensing, exclusivity. To which that same person then asked the head of Square Enix why, and he was pretty much like, yeah, Microsoft don't want people to share servers.
Oh, jeez, Microsoft. Seriously?
The problem with Microsoft is they won't play nice with anyone, and they won't play with anyone. They're just that sad child in the corner who's never going to have any friends, but he's a fucking rich kid, so he'll be fine.
Yeah, he just wants everything to himself.
Yeah, speaking of more negative talking about Microsoft, I mean, we fucking hate Microsoft over here. Well, I hate Microsoft, but I hate Sony almost as much.
That's the thing, I've got more like for Sony, but the problem is, I don't inherently hate Xboxes or anything. They've got a lot of great games on them. I had Xbox and Xbox 360.
No, I hate Xbox right now.
Oh yeah, Xbox One is awful. But Xbox 360 and the original were fine. Yeah. So I'm not being a Sony fanboy or
Sony I partly hate. You can call me a Nintendo fanboy, that's fine. I don't really care. They're the only company that don't fuck up as much.
Yeah.
Except when you mention the word YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, sticking with Xbox. So essentially, Phil Spencer has been addressing the fact that X1 had a poor start to the generation.
Oh, can I please say something?
Yeah.
No shit.
I think some of his quotes you might get a bit of a chuckle over. So essentially, he was speaking to GeekWire, basically talking about how talking about this whole like console war, and he basically talked about how they could possibly never catch up to Sony, which last time I checked, they weren't too far behind when it came to sales. But if you worry about sales, then you're a nincompoop.
Yeah.
So
even with sales, people could end up reselling that to someone else or just taking it back to a store.
I mean, they've sold about what? Let's just assume. Last time I even cared about the sales was like 20 million.
Yeah.
Which is piss poor.
Yeah. I mean, I know Sony's done at least 100 million. So.
What? Just in general?
Like, I think recently for like sales.
100 million?
I think so.
No.
How really?
No, 20 million.
No, Sony. Like
20 million.
I swear it's done more.
It's probably done. It's not reached 30.
Alright.
It's not reached 30.
Okay.
Trust me, if they had reached 100 million, they would be fucked.
Okay.
Because you have to remember, there's no games on that system. They would be fucked big time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it had more. Okay,
so we got a quote basically talking about how he would catch up, and he says, the length of the generation, he's basically talking about the length of the generation. Sony has a huge lead, and they have a good product. I love the content, the game lineup, and the fact that we have... This concept's confusing. Lineup. And the game lineup and the games lineup we have. I cannot speak today because I probably need a drink. And basically, he's saying how he probably won't. Basically, that quote says, because I don't really want to look into too much of his bullshit because I fucking hate the guy. But he's basically saying how Sony has a good lead, they have a good product, and the content. Basically, what everyone's been saying. Why a lot of people would scream. Fanboy.
Yeah.
I know I butchered that quote, but he fucking butchered his software, so...
Yeah, he did. He was basically saying that PlayStation 4 is better than Xbox One.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't rule out the fact that they could never catch up. He just said it's going to be hard. And I still think they could, but not where they're going. I mean, here's a good example of how little the game industry actually matters to me. I mean, I'm not a big fan of this franchise, but Halo 5 got released.
Oh, yeah, it did. Yeah.
That's That's all I can say. Like, you're in some serious shit when your go-to moneymaker leaves silence on an audio podcast of people who didn't even who actively care about things they shouldn't really be giving the time or day for.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I watched someone playing through like at least first mission, and I got bored. Even the guy was getting bored, and it was like, jeez.
Because he wasn't being paid. Well, paid to play. I'm sure he's being paid to play the game, but I'm talking about from Microsoft.
On to some more superhero news.
Yeah.
If you've been like following any of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and then the Warner Brothers DC one, you might have found out that Warner Brothers originally were going to have
Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro directing Justice League Dark.
Which was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a brilliant idea. It could have that darkness, but he is now not directing it anymore.
For shame.
He is it co-producing with...
I believe he's co-producing, yes.
With Scott Vodum, or
Vodum. Yeah. I'm not quite sure how to say your name, Scott, sorry.
Very sorry. But hopefully he'll do well. I mean, producer, he can get all the stuff right. He'll help there. He
doesn't seem like a shitbag producer, nor is Del Toro, so this film at least has
It'd
some
look
hope.
Good, at least.
Yeah, but that depends on whether Guillermo del Toro is going to get the look down, because they could get some shithead director, because they are currently looking for more screenwriters and directors to actually direct it, but they could get someone who's just absolutely terrible. Like, what's his name? The guy who's currently directing Batman v Superman.
Oh, Snyder.
Yeah, they could easily get him, because they're like, oh, it's dark, it's got to look fantastical, let's get someone who's a visionary, and it's like, no, just
got dark in the title.
I'd rather you get Jodorowsky to do the film. I know he probably wouldn't, but I'd get him.
Sauces?
Sausage?
See, it will make sense in a second. Sources suggest.
Okay.
Yeah, Scott is updating the script and looking for directors, and that Justice League Dark will coexist within the main team.
Yeah, it's the main team, so once Justice League finally exists.
Yeah. So, kind of like in the, if you've read New 52, Justice League Dark is actually not associated with Justice League.
They're their own entity.
Yeah. They're kind of more kind of a Black Ops kind of thing, but for supernatural stuff.
Yeah, the stuff that Superman could easily destroy, but it would take him 2 more seconds.
Yeah, the problem is everyone seems to think Superman is weak to magic, but he's not. He's just normal. Like,
no, he's fucking invincible.
Well, that's the thing. Magic can affect him.
But then
fire can affect us. It's normal.
He would just be like, oh, that tickled, right, destroyed.
Yeah, basically.
Or he'll just get Martian Manhunter, who's the most OP thing in the world, and just destroy him.
Martian Manhunter's actually afraid of fire.
Not anymore.
Have they changed that?
He's that powerful that he's like, I'm not scared of fire anymore. There was a comic I read where, like, there was this massive battle with Thanos, and then Martian Manhunter, or Darkseid, and then he was just like, oh yeah, and then the Superman was, oh, I'm really struggling, and then like Martian Manhunter was, oh, I know how to defeat him, and he came in and he was like, Darkseid was like, oh, fire, and he was like, nope, went straight through the fire, destroyed him one hit, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a satisfying end to an arc.
That's so dumb.
He's too OP. I mean, he is an alien, but like still. He's not afraid of fire anymore.
Yeah.
And even he just decided he wasn't afraid of fire anymore. We got to respect the guy that he fought his foes and decided, you know what? I'm not afraid of that anymore. I mean, all of you people scared of spiders, heights, and clowns, just decide you ain't afraid of it anymore.
Literally, that's what Martian Manhunter is telling us.
I mean, if
just don't care about your fears anymore.
If comics have taught us anything.
Yeah.
Oh man, this podcast is just so smooth with its segues. Speaking of fears, so we got the story trailer for Fatal Frame: Maiden of the Black Waters, which gameplay wise looks awesome. It
looks nice.
Crisp.
I was about to say crisp, funny enough.
Crisp, man. We're getting hungry. The only downside about the story trailer is the English one and that voice acting.
Oh no!
That voice acting. No disrespect to the voice actors and that, but. Not quite feeling it.
No, it felt a little off.
Felt a little off.
I mean, I guess you could say one thing, it's not intentional, but it gives a kind of surreal feeling to it. But
it feels like ghosts of American girls have possessed these Asian girls. That's what it feels like.
That's the headcanon. I've decided.
That's what it feels like to me. Yeah. So essentially, what was really cool about this trailer was the fact that it might just be in England. We're actually getting a physical release.
Yeah.
Which is essentially, titled as a limited edition. It seems to come with like a steel book.
Yeah.
Comes in the same kind of box Bayonetta 1 and 2 did. And I think like an art book and stuff like that. Seems to be limited edition, released 30th, same day as Shovel Knight. So if I have money, I'm going to be just looking at like, like that, basically. Another nice
5-finger discount.
Yeah, 5-finger discount, dude. Just sneak in the back while they're not looking.
Yeah, exactly. Get one person to distract.
Yeah, I use the ultimate alibi. I'm thinking of getting an Xbox One, and they're like, oh boy!
They rush out, grab the Xbox One from their stockpile, we just leave with the games.
Oh yeah, you have to climb a mountain to get to those.
Exactly.
There's also, I don't know which characters are wearing them, but essentially there's a Princess Zelda and Samus outfit, which in the context of a Fatal Frame game is freaking hilarious. Just seeing a girl walking around with a torch dressed as Zelda, like...
That's right. I would love to play the game in the Zero Suit Samus outfit.
Zero Suit Samus one is just like...
I would love that.
What? But, I don't know, I'm surprised there isn't a Peach one.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that.
I think that'd be great. Peach, Daisy, Rosalina... and then there'd be
no, don't put Rosalina. So we'll buy it.
Hijacks.
He'll get every copy of the game.
He's like, I don't like this shit. But yeah, really cool. If I somehow have the money, I will pick this up.
Yeah, same. I think this is probably something I could talk to my brother about, because he thought it looked great, and he had never heard of Fatal Frame. So, idea of this IP, it was like, yeah, I like it. So,
Fatal Frame, or if anyone is partly struggling with why we're calling it Fatal Frame, it is called Project Zero in this country, unfortunately.
Oh no, I swear it's actually been renamed Fatal Frame for... Is it still just called Project Zero?
We for some reason, they won't let it be called Fatal Frame in this country, probably because the title Fatal Frame is too threatening.
Is it like when they had to change Ninja to Hero?
Yeah, or they had to change Indigo Prophecy to Fahrenheit.
Yeah, wait, I thought it was the other way around. I thought in England it was Indigo Prophecy.
In England it's called Fahrenheit.
I thought it was... Okay.
Yeah.
I can never remember that one.
Yeah. But you gotta love how games like Splatterhouse were still called Splatterhouse in this country. Just one example.
Yeah.
Staying with horror, because it is the dark month. The Allison Road project, which I'm not sure if we ever did talk about on the podcast.
I think we might have, like, a little bit. Yeah, no, we did. I can remember.
Okay, so Allison Road, which was essentially I'm going to use this with quotation marks, spiritual successor to Silent Hill's PT.
Influenced by, is what I'd say.
A lot of games are influenced by it now.
Yeah.
It's making me cringe a little bit.
That's the thing, before we go back on topic, it's like, I feel like a lot, it's kind of what happened with comic books.
Mm-hmm.
They saw the thing, but they copied the outsider, not the thing that actually made it scary.
Yeah, I think the best example is Layers of Fear.
Yeah.
It had a look at Silent Hill PTs and went, okay, I got some ideas.
Yeah.
With games like Allison Road, it looked like they looked at Silent Hill PT and went, I can do that.
I would say one problem with Layers of Fear, though. At one point, there's a woman in a hallway, and she
that's bullshit. Yeah,
she grabs you, and it's basically
exactly the same. Yeah, I was really annoyed by that.
Yeah.
I hope that anyone who's played the beta, please message him and say, get rid of that.
Yeah.
It's copycat. Get rid of it, because you've got some fantastic stuff in that game.
Yeah. Very original idea.
But speaking of which, essentially the Kickstarter project has been cancelled.
Okay.
Developer who was making the original project, being Lilith, essentially has joined Team 17, as they say it. Basically, in order to give us the chance to make our game undeniably creative.
Okay.
Essentially, and which I guess is a jab at Konami, maybe.
I kind of think so.
We have another quote, which I can't remember who it's coming from. We have decided to withdraw the Kickstarter to allow us to commit 100% to an opportunity that will give us the chance as a team to create the best game possible. Now, the funny thing I thought that was interesting about this, because I wasn't originally going to consider it, was the fact that it's Team 17 once again.
Yeah.
Who is the studio who made Worms, and who are currently helping Playtonics create Yooka-Laylee. This is the second game they're working on, a game fueled by people wanting this game. Kickstarter. I mean, I don't. Obviously, Kickstarter wasn't cancelled, but I think it's just Team 17 being extra helping hands. I thought it was pretty cool.
See, this is kind of I'm seeing Team 17 now kind of becoming a modern day developer / publisher.
Yeah, I mean,
and it's very nice.
It's fine. We have a lot of developers like that. Like I forget the studio who's basically releasing all the Paranormal Activity films.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember their name, but they seem to be the go-to studio when you want to release your horror film.
Oh, is it the one that's got the weird barbed wire intro thing, like Twisted Pictures?
No. They're called something else. They're called like M&H or something like that.
I thought it was Lionsgate or something.
No, it's not Lionsgate.
Okay.
It's not Lionsgate.
Because I seem to see on every horror film, it's that logo with the like weird L in a concentric circles kind of thing on every horror film.
That might be their logo, but we're probably mistaken. But yeah, they seem to be publishing almost every horror film. They published M. Night Shyamalan's one. They published a lot of really shit ones, and obviously as you'll find out, the hilarious Ghost Dimension.
Oh as well. Yeah.
So yeah, a bit annoying, but yeah, I'll let you take the next story.
Continuing with horrors.
Yeah.
Exactly, it's flowing nicely. I like it.
So nice.
Friday the 13th recently released a trailer for its game. The trailer it didn't show any gameplay, but from what they've said, it's the 5 versus 1 kind of asymmetrical gameplay where you play 5 counselors at Camp Crystal Lake against Jason. Now, this game was originally called Slasher Volume 1, in which it was basically the same thing until they got the Friday 13th license. So now they changed it to that.
Yeah, might as well.
The problem is the idea, it's essentially Evolve. That thing, where it's like asymmetric gameplay.
Wait, so he's going to get stronger?
No. Like,
and then become OP?
Yeah.
And then charge you £200 for all the DLC?
See, when he goes to his final level, it will be Space Jason with the metal mask.
Was that one technically even strong?
Yeah. He was super strong.
Didn't he get wrecked at the end or something?
I think he got launched into space like the alien from Alien.
What should happen is they should get that bullshit like psychic girl. That's what the
that was amazing.
Yeah, because even she didn't realize that you can't stop him.
Yeah.
Even she was like, I keep killing him, but he keeps coming back.
Yeah. But the problem I have with this game is this is the game that almost had the Kickstarter game last year cancelled. It tried to sue them because during one of their concept arts it had a hockey mask.
Yeah.
So showing that one of its inspirations was Friday the 13th.
Because we already know that like Friday the 13th was the pinnacle inspiration of the hockey mask, correct?
Oh yes.
They invented
the hockey mask.
They own the rights to like all of it. You know, Mighty Ducks, they own the rights to that as well.
Every ice hockey thing, the hockey masks, you have to pay for Friday 13th likeness, right?
You have to.
I mean,
don't even think about it. Don't even risk it, guys.
If you think about the hockey mask, I mean, I'm gonna have to pay just for mentioning it now. But last year it almost got cancelled because of that. Luckily it didn't. The Kickstarter went perfectly through, and they're still making the game. I would not support the Friday 13th one. I'm still supporting last year because it's the same thing. 5 versus 1, slasher versus 5 students. But this one looks like it's going to be more creative because there'll be more than one slasher.
Fair enough. I mean, I obviously don't care about this game. Just from the trailer and the pandering, it doesn't look very good. I'd much rather get something more interesting.
Then go for last year.
Well, we all know what to do. Okay, still sticking with games, we have the fact that we are obviously big fans of the Disney... I think it's technically a Disney show, Gravity Falls.
Oh yeah,
which
big
is
fans.
Closing up on its 2nd season. So if you've watched the latest episode, you know exactly why we're all just shaking.
See, I haven't watched it yet. I need to.
I know what we're doing after this podcast. Shit. But essentially, a game has been confirmed, published by Ubisoft, basically being the Legend of the Gnome Gumslet.
Okay.
And essentially it's a 3D platformer game, reminds me a lot of Ice Climbers, where essentially you play as both, the show revolves around 2 twins, being Mabel and Dipper, and you seem to work together to run around and solve things.
Yeah.
And it looks really nice.
Yeah, it's got the same art style, obviously doing the whole cartoony thing. It looks fun.
Yeah, it does look great. I mean, I'm happy with it. I mean, I hope it gets a physical release. But looks really nice. I mean, just wanted to mention that out because it's like one of the smaller stories we like to include into the podcast. We don't just trust me. There's a shit ton of stories that come out, and it takes a while to go through it all and pick. But we got 2 confirmed-ish shows. I'm going to take the first one.
Okay.
Being because I know a little bit more about it, and that is the fact that why the Last Human Man, or Last Man, depending on how you want to phrase it, but I think it's called The Last Man.
Yeah, it is The Last Man.
It's getting a TV series on FX. I'm
very happy with this.
Yes, I am too. The comic, which was originally created by Brian Kay and Pierre Grier. Grier. It doesn't even sound like a surname. It sounds like syllables.
It is a real name, though.
I know, but it's like one of those names that just sounds like syllables. Like, I have a friend who's literally... His name is literally, like, one word, basically.
Okay.
But essentially, there's not too much to the story other than the fact that it's being developed. They will have the 2 original creators there. And I think, from the concept, which anyone doesn't know, it's essentially about... I forget the main character's name.
I can't remember either.
I can't remember, but it's essentially he is the last man on Earth, and he's somewhat...
Last male mammal.
Male, that's the important thing. He's the last male as well as his pet monkey, who is the last male monkey as well. Yeah. And essentially it's him dealing with the fact that he is this.
Yeah.
So obviously it's going to be very female-driven. And from what I've heard from the comic, because it's been one that's been on my list, it gets very tense at some points, and it brings up a lot of pretty interesting issues. I don't think I'll watch it.
Okay.
But I know I'm going to pick up the comic because I don't want the shit. Oh, FXX presents fucking... Yeah. No, I want the original comic, please.
See, at least one thing, if I remember correctly, early in the comic, like literally very early, so it's not a spoiler.
Shouldn't be, no.
He knows that his girlfriend is still alive. So it's kind of like, oh, so what's he gonna do then? Considering all these women is basically, he's the last man. We kind of need him. Yeah, I mean... Things are going to get messed up.
Things could. I mean, I don't know how messed up they're going to get, but...
I've read little bits of it, and there are some crazy stuff that happens. Very enjoyable.
I can quite imagine. Women are nuts.
See, the problem is if you say that, people are going to be like, he's a misogynist. He hates women.
Well, technically I am, because I'm a male, remember?
Oh, yeah. We all hate women.
That's what all fake feminists think. But anyway.
Quite sad.
The second one.
Yeah. Possible Marvel series for Netflix being Moon Knight. Now, in case you don't know much about him, he's the urban vigilante kind of character. Very Daredevil. The character himself is rich. So, it's Marvel's kind of Batman. Yeah. He's got a brilliant outfit. I love it. Yes. Stark contrast of the white is amazing.
Clearly, the Spider-Gwen took inspiration from that art direction.
Definitely. And the modern costume for the comics looks amazing. If they base the outfit on that, that would be great.
Which I think they'll have to.
It was revealed in an interview with Humberto Gonzalez that Moonlight could be a Netflix series, much like Daredevil or the other ones, such as Luke Cage or Jessica Jones. And
I think he also went into the fact that possibly, just from, if my memory serves me correctly, that he may be introduced in one of these and then get his own show. So we could see him...
with Punisher being in Daredevil. Yeah. He might be introduced in one and then, like, in my opinion, it probably likely in Luke Cage or Iron Fist. Being a heroes for hire kind of thing.
I don't know, I think... based on what I've seen from the aesthetic style of Daredevil, I think it'd make more sense for him to be in there.
I understand.
I understand because I really want them to keep the style of the comic. Yeah. I understand that might be a bit tricky if they introduce him in that, and then it goes from there. But I don't know. It's
considering the whole hero for hire thing of Luke Cage and Iron Fist. I think that makes sense.
It makes sense, but would his character really be under that in a sense? Is he literally going like, oh well, I am a hero for hire, or is he more like brooding like Batman?
Considering he joins teams a lot, like in the Ultimate series, he was part of SpiderMan's Marvel Knights, which was a bunch of urban vigilante heroes, including Daredevil, I believe Shang-Chi and Iron Fist, and others like that. Okay. So it's possible.
Fair dues.
Something he said that Moonlight is not actively being developed for film. No. And that the rumour is Moonlight is actually being developed for Netflix.
Which I think could work. I think there's a lot of, I wouldn't say smaller characters, but I think there's characters that are you'd want to see more of in a controlled kind of situation in the sense of a TV series, and I think that works.
Yeah. And considering, like, they already said that the character of Misty Knight should appear in, I can't remember if it was Jessica Jones or Luke Cage. I'm very happy about that. She's a great supporting character.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and that's the thing that Marvel has done a good job of realizing, is that even those lesser known, maybe not necessarily superheroes, they're great if you get the right actor, the right writing on them. You can make them really stand out. I mean, a lot of people really like Hawkeye and Black Widow, mainly because the actors who play them do a good job. I mean, I think it's very evident they will never get their own movie.
No.
But at the same time, when people think of the Avengers, they're going, oh, Hulk, Thor, Iron Man, oh, Black Widow, Hawkeye, they're great as part of the team, you know. Though they do their solo work, but they're more team players. Yeah. That's perfectly fine.
One thing that you didn't put down was damage control.
Damage control, yes. I'm glad you actually brought that up.
Yeah. There was speculation, kind of a thing about damage control being a Netflix show as well, which there really isn't much there being said. But I would like to point out they do already exist in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. In the first Iron Man film, on the back of the TV, during the newsreel, it actually says damage control are, like, tending to the, like, Stark incident. So they do technically exist.
Okay, I think they've been mentioned in a couple of the Disney cartoons involving Marvel characters.
And, I mean, if anything, I could see it as a comedy. Like, they could do a nice comedy section with that.
Yeah, just first episode, dump them in the aftermath of Age of Ultron, and just be like, we're gonna get rid of all these dead fucking robots.
Yeah. Or you could even, like, do a few flashbacks to the, like, Battle of New York and, like, just see them dragging or, like, sweeping, like, alien parts away or something. And, like, this job isn't going to be easy. It's
a boring and cool concept.
Yeah. It'd
pretty
be
much
funny.
is. Getting close to the end of our general stories, which is awesome. So, we got some strange news talking about everyone's favourite game company being EA.
Everyone loves them.
And how they basically came up and they said they are not interested in HD remakes.
I have to say, good.
Yes, I'm on the side of this is actually a good idea, but I still do not trust EA. So essentially, Peter Moore, who is the COO of EA, said, it feels like pushing stuff out just because you've run out of ideas. Basically, I don't know where we'd find the time to do these remakes. We're a company that likes to push forward. I will not agree with that last quote.
Okay.
Personally, will not agree with that last quote, but I definitely agree with the first. But I think it's very interesting that EA is acknowledging that.
Yes, I'm very happy they've said. I mean, that's the thing, they've said at least two things recently that I've agreed with. Being the no microtransactions in Star Wars Battlefront, was it?
Which is still extremely hard to believe.
Well, that's the thing. They've said some things that will be in it, which I kind of feel like is a bad point, but...
Like, I hate to sound extremely explicit, but someone must have went down on someone to get that arranged.
It could be they're just making slow changes to not be the worst company like they always get voted.
They still are, though.
I know, but the small changes they end up happening, I still don't trust them at all.
The thing about EA is they're a cracked pot that's already been smashed.
Yeah.
You're not putting that back together. Sorry.
But there's always some time for minor changes.
I mean, whether this comment is bullshit or not, it has some truth to it.
Yeah.
I mean, stop with the HD remakes. I was going to include this, but I'll mention it quickly. They're doing a HD remake for Zelda Twilight Princess.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody wants that shit.
Yeah.
That shit's already been ported like 3 times.
I mean, I know one of the reasons they ended up getting asked about HD remakes was people speculating if they do the Mass Effect trilogy.
Again, yeah.
Yeah, on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. It was like, why?
It's pointless.
Exactly.
It's pointless. I mean, I don't know. It's like the game industry wants to look back, but at the same time they don't want to look back too far.
Yeah.
Because people are like, hey, just one example. Hey, can we get another Crash game? I know the whole deal with Crash, but it's like, you know.
Yeah.
I don't get it. You can bring back things in the right way, but I don't know. Okay. So I'm going to I'll kind of take it the second to last one. You can take the final one.
Okay.
So Nintendo's NX project. We have further details on that. We'll quickly go through them as soon as it's just rumoured, so there's nothing really worth talking about other than stating it. That is essentially the fact that dev kits have apparently started rolling out to people. Apparently, according to some sources, they contain industry-leading chips, which would basically make them as good or better than PS4 X1.
Okay.
Essentially, this is essentially a plan to get third-party developers back because they've lost a lot of them, which is why Nintendo is just straight up just making good games.
Yeah. They're just taking it with their own like first-party intellectual property.
It's a double-edged blade where they're essentially getting out these really good, solid games, but very slowly to the point where there's almost nothing. But at the same time, look at PS4, Xbox.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a game coming out like almost every month that's exclusive to the console.
Yeah, true.
And I think it's very interesting. I mean, whether or not the NX is going to be anything revolutionary, they're also talking about the fact that it comes with a device that's also mobile-based for there and abroad, which is kind of cool.
See, that's why I had speculation that it was going to be a mix, you know, like the Wii U, where it's gamepad and the console, but then the gamepad is like, let's say,
a huge phone.
Like a DS kind of thing. By like mobile being you can take it with you, not like a phone.
I can believe that.
So it'd be like a mixture between console and handheld.
I think that's what they're going for, but I think all we know is that we may possibly see something next year. So that just adds another one to the 2016 list.
Okay.
You know, excitements and disappointments. And finally, the final story of the podcast that we're going to end, you know, just this the main bulk segment. And I give it to you, Ace.
Dun, 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 dun. So, that intro makes sense because in Korea, a man has been able to rob how many places? Like
about 180 stores.
Yeah, 180 stores using a cardboard box
over his head.
I love this.
Now you can actually find the footage, and this is no bullshit. He legit just well, not really strolls. He kind of rushes into stores with a cardboard box on his head and goes into the counter, takes out money. I mean, this guy stole about $60,000 worth of merchandise just by doing this over the course of about 2 years.
Yeah. I'm sorry, but life imitating art, it's so beautiful.
It's always great when it's so damn funny.
Exactly. Like, it's a bad thing, like, don't steal, kids.
Yeah, don't.
Unless you're trying to get both of those collectible games. Then use the Xbox One method.
Or the amiibo.
Just hijack the truck.
Jeez, I mean, there's ways of gaining amiibos with and without drawing blood.
Oh my god. What if you use a cardboard box to get the amiibos?
That's what I should do. That's how I get both Shovel Knight and Fatal Frame.
That's what they did. They hid themselves in a cardboard box on the truck.
Have we just figured out how they stole the amiibo truck for Splatoon?
Yeah. And then they got out of the cardboard box, hijacked it.
Jeez. With the box still on the head.
Yeah. So you just see this man in a box driving a car. No one can
someone
tell.
hand me the phone. Operator, give me the number for 999.
Oh no.
But yeah, so brilliant story. We thought we'd end it off with something just so damn bizarre and wacky. It's
beautiful.
But we have the main discussion, which is something we already recorded because we saw it earlier on last week, and that is the fact that we have a review for the Guillermo del Toro, once again, Crimson Peak. We saw it on the Friday day it came out.
Yeah.
And I'm going to quickly hand over to Past Raccoon and Ace to pretty much do the review. So this podcast is going to go on for a little bit longer, but you know, if you haven't seen the film, we don't want spoilers, I think you should cut off as soon as Past Raccoon speaks. So take it away, man. We just got back from seeing Crimson Peak. We are currently in the past, being delivered to you on the present, like some kind of weird ghost.
It's all part of the future plan.
To some extent, yes. All part of it. And yeah, like Future Raccoon pretty much said, we're going to be talking about Crimson Peak, the newest film by Guillermo del Toro, which was released at the right season, right time. Just
a little bit before Halloween to start that buzz up.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty much kicking off Halloween to some extent. But before we kind of go into our initial thoughts and initial thoughts and review on the film, we will say this is going to be a spoiler section. I mean, it's fairly obvious from now on.
First, I'll say before we get into spoilers, I do recommend going to see it.
Definitely.
Obviously, so if you want to watch it first and then come back to the podcast, then go ahead.
Yes, definitely. Future Raccoon has already warned you about that from before we popped in. But before we quickly go into the film, we talk about 2 trailers we did see because we just want to give you something extra. So that is the fact that we saw the trailer for Paranormal Activities: The Ghost Dimension.
Oh god, just the name alone. Seriously.
Yeah, I mean, this sounds... The opening, not the opening, excuse me. The title sounds so bad. It sounds so cheesy, and it sounds like a joke, basically.
Yeah, I don't even understand. Like, it sounds like a really bad book for children.
Yeah.
I mean,
Laura finds the ghost dimension,
dun, dun,
where she meets a friendly ghost and a friendly skeleton as they try and save Spooky Town.
He's called Gaspar.
Gaspar, and the skeleton's called Mr. Bones, and
Exactly.
the ghost is called See-Through.
Yeah.
And some rubbish like that. Essentially, I would recommend watching this trailer because it is very funny.
Yeah, please do. If you're feeling down or anything, or if you just want a quick chuckle, watch it.
Yeah,
it is hilarious.
The trailer made no sense from the point where they're getting out this futuristic camera in order to see
It was
activities.
It's like the retro look of the future, which is weird.
Yeah, because I do know that all the Paranormal Activity films, they flip-flop between time, and they're not set in, like... I don't think this film is taking place in 2015, let's just say. But, hilarious trailer, for the most part. This film looked like absolute shit. My favourite part of the trailer was when the, I guess, the obligatory priest... is called in, and he looks like he gets fucking force pushed. Like he's from Star Wars. And it's just that... we even jokingly said we need the main villain from episode 7. We just need to cut that scene of him doing that famous force push and then just add that in there. Too funny, but I know we won't be seeing this film anytime soon.
No, not even, like, if someone hands it to me for free, I wouldn't even watch it.
Put it straight in.
Forgot a ticket. No. Just... everything about the film is just in there anyway.
No, thank you. And the other trailer we saw, because they only showed 2, as far as we know. We didn't technically walk in late, but we walked in late through, I would guess, the trailers.
It's one of those things I always say. I never arrive early, I never arrive late. I arrive exactly when I mean to.
Yep. It's true. It's true. That's how we should all live. And the second trailer we saw, which is a film I completely forgot about, and I'm somewhat looking forward to, and that is Krampus.
Yeah, Krampus is by the same guy who made Trick or Treat, which was a kind of anthology-ish movie set around Halloween. This is set around Christmas, starring the Slavic mythology character of Krampus.
Krampus, yeah.
Who is associated with Santa. Santa delivers gifts to children. So, Krampus takes away the bad children.
Yes. I was... This may sound like a pretty awesome idea for a lot of people, but I was mainly refreshed of his ideas because I read the Ghostbusters comic, and they deal with him in a Christmas special. But actually finally seeing the trailer, because it was a film that I was... next to Elijah Wood's Cooties, it was a film I was definitely looking forward to seeing because it looked like it was hitting all the right marks of a film I'd want to see. Cooties is the kind of film where it's horror-esque, but it's not taking itself too seriously.
Yeah.
And Cooties seems to be doing the same thing, but it's going for more of a Gremlins-esque feel towards it, I would say. Because, I mean, we don't see what, I guess, Krampus looks like.
We see little hints of it, like horns, goat feet, etc.
Yeah. So you can get an idea of what he may look like, but the really awesome thing about this film, which I don't think will be its selling point, but for me will be one of the major selling points, is the fact that he seems to be practical effects.
Yes, it really does.
Even some of the, I guess, monsters, toy demons, he seems to be bringing...
some of those looked amazing.
Yeah, there's a quick shot right at the end which looked really cool.
There were 2. One of them, which I joked about for Five Nights at Freddy's, which there was a teddy bear kind of thing. That looked frightening. And then
the other one at the end was like some kind of weird clown that looked like it had like the mouth of Predator. Yeah.
It was kind of a Jack-in-the-Box.
Yeah, which I thought was really great. The film looks like... I'm very curious as to how funny the film is going to be, and
it looked like there was a comedy bit in the beginning of the trailer.
Yeah, which kind of threw you off as to what the film was about.
We were kind of like, is this a comedy? Why is it being shown for a horror film? And then it slowly
built up. So I'm hoping there would be at least a much better pacing when it comes to that. I'm hoping that...
obviously, considering a whole full feature film, I think it would probably be paced better.
I think so. I believe the film is coming out this December, so I think that's going to be my December film.
And, I mean, considering it's a Christmas film... I mean, I'm going to go see this. Yeah. Take your kids, take your wife, take your gran.
It's suitable for everyone. Yeah. I mean, that bit where that woman got... No. it looks like it's just going to be fun, and I think we really do need a film like this. Hopefully it does well, and I definitely want to go see it. I got to keep reminding myself I've got only like maybe 3 more films left to see this year. So
I want to go see this, and then I want him to make Trick or Treat 2, because
he's been talking about that. Yes.
Oh, there was an interview I watched where he was talking about it, and he said, maybe a film that's good, I consider going back to Trick or Treat, and I was like, I'm watching this film. Yeah,
I don't know. I think he needs to give Trick or Treat more time.
Yeah.
And then he needs to come back to it. And I think what he may need to do is he may need to... it sounds really bad saying this, but I think he may need to fund it himself. Not Possibly. That I don't have faith in the film. I just don't think Hollywood's going to have faith in him.
I completely agree. Hollywood doesn't like taking weird chances with anything.
Which is very interesting considering what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And so we're finally going to talk about Crimson Peak. If for whatever reason you are still listening, despite the fact future and past Raccoon said there's going to be spoilers.
And now present.
And present. Now is the time to actually stop right here, because when I stop talking, that is when we are going to go straight into spoilers. Right.
So they all died at the end.
Yeah. No. So Crimson Peak, Guillermo del Toro's next feature-length film, right in time for Christmas. Not Christmas. Well, could watch it at Christmas time.
There's a few bits there.
Maybe. So, finally, been anticipating this film ever since it was announced, and so far, overall impressions, really good.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable. I'm going to say a few things first. I think it was a classic throwback to Victorian era Gothic horror.
They nailed that.
Specifically, stuff like Frankenstein by Mary Shelley and Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes.
It has the feel of those. It goes into the same storytelling idea of those, where not everything that seems monstrous is monstrous.
Exactly. I mean, obviously this is with the intention that either people have seen it or just don't care about spoilers, but I know we're going to be flip-flopping back and forth throughout the film, but I was really happy with how the film ended, in the sense that it didn't come down to CGI bullshit. It came down to a just straight up, almost very nervous based fight with 2 women wielding swords or knives.
A really big knife and a butcher knife. It was kind of like, jeez.
It was fairly gripping just for its simplicity, and I mean the final shot where they're out on the snow with the clay rising from the ground was very striking. It's particularly Edith's somewhat blondish yellowish hair.
Oh yeah. I mean, throughout the whole film, I really loved the hair. It completely contrasted with everything around her. Yes. It was great.
She almost looks like 2 different characters from when she's with her father and with Thomas.
I'm glad you noticed that. What it is, if you notice, when she's with her father, she's very confident, very controlled. Her hair's back. When she's with Thomas, she's almost like a little girl, and it's all out.
Particularly the scene when she's lying in bed. It reminded me very much of. I'm not sure whether that's just me or whether that was purposely done, but the way she's lying reminds me very much. They had her hair spread out much like how they would lay their dolls next to them in bed.
I was getting the same
and just
thing.
The scene of, I wasn't even sure whether the other female character,
Lucille.
Lucille. Which I wasn't sure if she had her pinned down there or anything, but very lifeless, much like you would play with a doll.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I thought was a nice touch, and this film is just filled with very nice touches. I mean,
one touch though, I think the main character, her name's Edith Cushing. I think that was a reference to actor Peter Cushing, who starred in many Hammer horror films, particularly playing Baron Frankenstein and Van Helsing.
Yes.
So I thought there was a nice reference there. Del Toro knows.
He knows his stuff. If there's anyone who knows this stuff, it's definitely Del Toro. I keep saying this every time I bring it up. Look at what the guy's house looks like. It is amazing. So I think we should quickly go through just a quick brief of the main plot. So we have Edith, who is essentially with her father. Her mother died.
Yeah.
And
when she was a child.
And we get this great scene, which is kind of sets up the whole film.
Yeah.
For the whole point where her mother dies, and as a child she's in bed, and you see the ghost of her mother kind of come in, and just that shot alone was fantastic, because you could tell with a lot of the lighting and the framing, and we'll get to that a little more, You could tell they really wanted to make it look scary.
Yes.
Not necessarily like jump scarish, although there were a few, which I would say is possibly my one of two downsides to the film, but they're very small. As soon as there's only really two major jump scares, which I don't feel.
Three.
I don't feel that they work, and I think they were a little bit more unnecessary compared to the rest of the more shocking and brilliantly done times when you do see something frightening. But we see her, and you see this ghost, and the way it comes out with the shadow with the hands reminded me a lot of the very famous scene from German Expressionism being Nosferatu, when he's creeping up the stairs and the hands crawl over the bed, and the fact that he kind of goes beyond that and basically has the fingers kind of come in and then take the hallway in complete shadow. Yeah. And just the fact that her dead mother as a ghost is warning her of this place called Crimson Peak is already a pretty frightening concept.
See, that's where I had a small problem. Like, her mum warning her of Crimson Peak. How does her mum know? That's what I was getting confused at. Like, after the film, it's kind of like, how did her mum know? I
think it's going more to the fact that once you're dead, you have a knowledge of, you have a knowledge of the future. Yeah. It's I guess you could call it a cliche that always happens in ghosts. That's why ghosts always warn people. They know what's coming. Yeah. I mean, next to other things like dreams and imagination, it's one of those things that aren't really explained. Yeah. And I think it's fine if you want to consider that a negative. I personally don't mind it because I think it ties more into that throwback.
Oh, that's what I was going to go on to say. It's obviously minor plot hole if you focus on too much, but what the main thing is...
I wouldn't say minor. I say it's something you question now, but it doesn't bother you. It's not like, film shit because of that one thing.
It's not going to make you think, well, the film doesn't make sense now. It's minor like...
No, film makes perfect sense. Yeah. I mean, and so from that opening, you kind of meet Edith, you meet her father, then Thomas gets introduced.
They introduce all the characters superbly.
Yes.
They show their personalities and their interests and their relation to other characters. And that's what you need in a film.
The one thing because, I mean, I know I probably shouldn't be saying my general thoughts on the film, but my second major point is this film is all about, it does subtlety perfectly. Yes. Perfectly. Other than those like 2.5-ish jump scares, everything is subtle. Yes. From character development to movement to acting to just framing. Yes. It's subtle. Very subtle. To the point where there's a few things that you could very easily miss, and they put that there intentionally. Like when she's in the attic and you see like the wind ghost and even the brilliant reference to a certain video game, which we'll talk about in a sec. Oh, yeah. You could very easily have missed that if you weren't paying attention or being a dumb motherfucker on your phone.
I saw at least 2 people on their phone.
2 people when I was very tempted to kind of do a quick, like, just kind of lean out, but watching the film again, shut the fuck up, you know. Yeah. But I was just like, let me not scream for the rest of the audience. So we're introduced to all 4 main characters. Thomas and kind of Edith start to kind of create a romance. Her father doesn't really approve of it. Then you have Lucine. Yeah. Lucine, who's pretty much...
Lucille.
Yeah. Lucille. I'm being thrown off because that's not the way I'm used to say or phrase Lucille. Yeah. I know of it as a more the French spelling. Right. But you see Lucille, who seems to be like this very strange character, and
she's got like similar appearance to sorry, what's
Edith? What?
Tom Hiddleston's character.
Oh, Thomas.
You
can still call him Tom.
Yeah. Lucille's got very similar appearance and mannerism to Tom. Yeah. And they seem to be close. You find out they're relating, and it's like, okay. But there's something really creepy there.
Yes, you can definitely tell. There was a few... And the one thing I like, as this kind of this this triangle kind of develops between these 4 characters, you notice that the film does not really waste time. Yeah. Trying to skip over the idea of, is Thomas and Lucille up to something? Yeah. Maybe you should know. They are flat out just like, there's something wrong with these people. Yeah. Her father's like, I don't like these people. He gets an investigator who was awesome.
Oh, I love that actor in general. Yes. Everything he's in, I love.
Props to him. I love that actor. Sideburns on point.
Oh, yeah.
He gets an investigator, finds out some weird shit about them.
Instantly. It's first of all, I have a weird feeling I'm investigating.
And I don't know why.
Yeah.
great.
He's not like, something strange. Oh well.
Because now it gets the audience thinking as well, because they're like, okay, and why would he not like them? Obviously, you see the post, and you're like, some weird shit's going down.
Yeah.
Oh, Crimson Peak, whatever. And even then, Crimson Peak isn't mentioned until at least the first hour.
Yeah. Well, except for the warning.
Except for the warning, but you know, it's not even. I was very surprised when they finally do make the mention. It's not called Crimson Peak.
Yeah.
Which
it's a nickname.
It's a nickname, which I thought was a great way to kind of. And you kind of have this oh shit moment with like Edith, where she's like, "Fucking hell," and there was a lot of.
You see it on her face. She's like, "Oh, what have I done?"
It's the same with Lucille. I think. I think it was when she accidentally stabbed Thomas, and I think she kind of looked around and was like, "Oh shit, I don't think fucked up."
There was accidental.
There was one moment I know which she kind of gave a look where she's like, "Oh, I done goofed."
No, that's the thing. It was intentional, but it was out of anger. And then afterwards, when she had a few seconds, it was kind of like, "Oh no, why? Why did I do this?"
Oh snap!
And also, can I just say a quick thing before you go back?
Yeah.
Her stabbing him in the cheek. That was That was gore as hell.
That was you felt that.
I'm not sure if you saw, but I actually kind of held my face a little because I was like, no.
I could see, because we were at one of the top rows. I could see a couple of people kind of moving to the side of it, and even then when he does take it out, it's not just got score everywhere. It was just like, no, that you messed up. And I mean, it was a pretty rough show. So. As the story develops, and you kind of notice that Lucille and Thomas are up to something, even to the point where they have 2 shots where they're kind of talking about whether she's the one, and they're completely blacked out. Yeah. And another great shot where
it does those transitions a lot, the old style where it's got that small.
And that was my second only issue with the film. Those transitions were great, and the ones where it was like a panning shot from one subject being completely one color to the next. They were fairly inconsistent, because those irises, as they're called, stopped halfway through the film, and I was like...
They used them like 3 times.
3 times, and I thought it was a bit of a waste.
I think they should have only either used it twice or a lot. Twice being at the start and the end.
Yeah, and I think it was very inconsistent with that, and I think... Because there was even a couple shots where there was like a very... Not a jump cut, but a very quick cut to another scene, and I was like... That's a bit weird. I'm talking mainly about the scene in the graveyard, which I thought was a bit weirdly edited. Yeah, I'm not sure what that was about, but other than that, those 2 things being the pointless jump scares, and those things were my only complaints. So as the story progresses, as I'm trying to get through it really quickly, yes. So you get the great shot, even with the iris, when you see Lucille when she's kind of just standing in the darkness as Tom pretty much insults Edith, pretty much cancelling any ideas of marriage.
Yeah, they were forming a romance. The dad didn't want anything wrong with it, because he felt
pay them off.
Pay them off, get them to leave, and she was kind of like, she got heartbroken by him.
And to which it's followed with the scene of the father unfortunately being killed.
Yes,
which may sound a bit weird. I do like that scene in the sense that they specifically make focus on that razor blade from the first time he's shaving to the second time, but the thing that does him in is being his head smashed against a what is it, a sink.
The overflowing sink, and that's brilliant. It's one of those, like, they twisting it.
It was partly a juxtapose, partly.
Like I when I was watching, I was kind of like, oh no, they're not going to do the whole he's going to have his throat slit, and when they didn't, I was like, good one.
Yeah, I was like, props to that.
You did something brutal instead.
This pretty much leads Edith to kind of meet up with Thomas and kind of go to his mansion, which is... Yeah,
they do properly get married.
Yeah, they do get married, and they skip some time, and you kind of see... she finally gets in the mansion, you finally get to see the place, which looks awesome. Yeah. Looks awesome.
It's decrepit, there's holes everywhere.
There's a massive hole in the roof, which I liked, and...
So you've got either leaves coming down or snow, depending on what's happening at the time.
As well as there being clay under the house, so the house is sinking.
At one part he treads on like some of the tiles, and you see the red clay rising.
It looks almost like blood from a certain angle. And this is where like the main like crux of the film happens. There's like Edith is like visited by what I presume are ghosts. Yeah, and just kind of skipping, just giving people a brief. So when she sees Go, she's piecing things together. She's realizing that something is going on between them two. Thomas and Lucille are whispering. Meanwhile, you have her doctor friend who is clearly,
we didn't mention him earlier. Alan.
Alan. He was there, kind of working with his father throughout, and he kind of pieces things together and comes to.
There's a nice thing they do for Alan, which I think is also a reference to Peter Cushing. He's got a Sherlock Holmes book.
And he becomes the detective as the story goes on.
He says it's like Sherlock Holmes has the same job as I do, and he ends up doing detective thing. Peter Cushing played Sherlock Holmes, so a nice little reference there.
Another nice reference from the film.
Yeah.
And as things go on, you start to realise that they want her fortune in order to fund it, because unfortunately, and I do say unfortunately, Lucille and Thomas are together, despite the fact he's married so many women just for the wealth, and God knows what they were going to do with the body after that. But it was very much a kind of love, lust, power, corruption kind of.
The idea I kind of got is that the vats in the basement with the like red clay.
Yeah.
I thought that's where they were storing the bodies. But I thought at some point one of them was going to they were going to find it, someone's going to fall in or something.
Yeah.
But I think it's just hinted that they might be storing them there.
Yeah, I think it is, especially as soon as the fact that the ghosts that look absolutely awesome, because
and they're all in red.
They're all in red. One thing I do like about the film, and that's something that Del Toro has spoken about, is he says, despite the fact they're ghosts, he wanted to use real actors.
Yeah.
They're real actors, and there is a small chunk of CGI on them. But they're always real.
See, that's where I have to get into one of my problems. The CG on some of the ghosts fell off for me.
Like, I thought at some point it was unnecessary.
Yeah. Like, even in the intro bit with the mum ghost, when her face was moving, it was very CG'd, and even the veil covering it.
It shouldn't be. I don't think it was CG.
It was. It looked off to me, and that's the weird bit. I could see it through the veil. I
don't know, because bodies were present in every kind, but the only issue I have with it is the fact that I think that was a little bit too much. I think the CGI was covering the ghost a little bit too much. I think
just in general, the too much CG going on there did kind of draw back.
I think someone was meddling around a little bit too much, going, well, you're going to make them look like ghosts, and it's like, no, you don't.
I mean, and then if you consider the ghost at the end, it's just the actor with a tiny bit of CG like pulling off where they were stabbed.
Yeah, which I thought was fine.
The contrast, like, that was good. The one at the start was good, just except for the talking bit looked odd. In between these very CG'd ones, it looked wrong.
They weren't terribly CG though. I have to disagree. I think
they're a bit.
I think they look believable. And I love the design of them. They had this.
I like the design.
Skinned look to them, because you could see muscle, and the red, the blood red, which was either blood or clay, was just amazing.
That's the thing. I love the design of them. I just think it was a bit too CG, and it kind of took it for me. Like,
I disagree. I mean. And as we already mentioned, it comes to that climax where unfortunately Thomas is killed. The doctor is almost killed, and then they kind of have almost like I said, a sword fight in the snow.
Yeah, Tom has this whole change of heart. He's been kind of throughout the whole thing shown to be the better of the two.
Yeah, he definitely seems that, because although you never really trust him, you always kind of think, okay, I like Thomas for some reason. There's something about him that's nice.
Yeah,
compared to his sister, who is just fucking insane.
She's crazy, and I love it.
She's that's how you do crazy, guys. I mean, that's how you do crazy. And even when she flips out, it doesn't come as a complete 180.
Yeah,
because you know there's something wrong with this woman. From just her mannerisms, the way she talks.
You know the bit when Edith is waiting at the elevator?
Yeah. And
you can hear the kind of like crying bit. And then you see her walk slowly to the corner and then just start charging. I love that. I thought that was amazing.
There was a lot. There was a lot of great cinematography and camera work in this film. Moments when they're going up and down the lift, from just following her. Even a lot of the very slow movement shots when she's approaching the bathtub, and when she's in the bath, just kind of, they use lighting and color perfectly in this film. I mean, for a spooky, scary kind of horror film, it's very colorful.
It is.
I mean, like I already mentioned, just the scene at the end with the pale white snow, her dress, her somewhat yellowish hair, and the what you could guess as the red clay looks perfect.
And then you contrast her with that, and then contrast that with Lucille. It is brilliant visually.
It is a fantastic film to actually look at. It's very pretty, very beautiful to look at, and I mean, I'm really happy I saw this. I mean, a couple of great highlights were, like I've already said, the ghosts. Love the look of them, particularly when she's kind of coming out the bath and you see that really fucked up one with its, like, I think the mother, because it had its head split. Yeah, that was great when it was kind of just reaching out. That was fantastic, as well as some other times when you see it, like
one of the best bits, the PT reference.
Yeah, now, if anyone has seen PT, you would know that at some point when playing the game, you will be forced to look at a crack between a bathroom, to which a face will quickly come out and close the door.
Yes.
There's a shot very similar to that in Crimson Peak, where she has a door partly open looking for something, but it's slightly different as she kind of opens it, looks around, because they have a Pomeranian dog.
Oh, yeah.
And she's kind of like, oh, so that wasn't scratched. And then you just see this really messed up looking face just kind of in the crack.
It looked like the other ones where it was like, it was more muscle, it was red, like it was like skin cut off, etc. But that one looked realer to me than other ones. But
because I think it was a real, like I said before, they're always real people. Yeah, always.
But some of them just have more CG. But
I think because he had no CG to him, even when it's crawling. Yeah. Minus the fact that I'm guessing coming out the ground, even just
that
him
bit
crawling
was
awesome. Just the fact that they have that running and they keep it in the background. There's no like bullshit editing where and that wasn't CGI. That was legit someone crawling on the ground.
I loved that bit. That was one of the best ghost bits.
It was one of the best. And I mean, there was other great shots like the one in the bathtub. I thought that was great, where it's just standing there and even the shot when it's the clay, when she's kind of looking around in the clay, and they don't do the typical jump scare grabbing it, which I was really happy about.
I was very, like, considering you said as well the problem with the jump scares, I was like, oh no, I hope they don't do that.
Like I with the jump scares, I thought it was unnecessary only because it's so subtle and it's so well done. It's more about what they look like and what they're doing rather than them going boo.
See, one that I'll have to point out, at one point she's in the room and she like kind of walks away or something, and there's that loud like scare tone, and then if you look in the back you can see a ghost just kind of walking, and that was it was like, if you just left that could have been horrifying. And no scare tone. But
I think it still kind of works because they hit the scare tone and then they kind of delivered, so they at least gave it a moment to just let it sink in. I mean,
but it's just because how sudden it was. That was a jump scare to me that I thought was unnecessary. It could have just been.
But at the same time, at this point, you should really know that there's like monsters about. But I think this is more to emphasize the fact that they are definitely trying to contact you. Yeah. In a sense, because it freaking grabs a hand somehow, and I mean, I'm just all in awe about how well shot this film is. If you're going to see this film, definitely you need to see it just for the visuals. I wouldn't waste your time with any other film this month, personally, because I can't see any other benefit. Well, don't put it this way. Any other horror film, because I think there's still a few decent films. I think that the Peanuts film is out, and maybe Pan might be good. I don't know.
I don't know. It's not looking great, but never know.
Comparing other people's opinions from this film and Pan, I think this is definitely the better film. Yeah. Please don't go see Paranormal Activities. Don't go see that film. This is a much better film. I mean, this may not be...
It's not going to be jump scare city where everyone's like screaming in the cinemas.
No, it's a straight up good film. Yeah. Straight up good. Simple, well done. Guillermo del Toro, if you're listening to this for some reason, I hope your film does good. I'm looking forward to the next endeavour.
I loved the homages. You did good.
Yes. He did very good, and I think this film is definitely another crowning achievement this year. I think it's... I don't really give films 4 stars, but I guess if I was a critic, I'd definitely be giving it like a 4, because it was fantastic.
I give it 11 out of 10.
Awesome. It was awesome. And any other thoughts on the film that you want to mention at all?
Now I'm on the spot. I can't think of anything. You go first if you've got any. I'll try.
I don't really have anything to say other than the fact that this film is absolutely perfect for Halloween, and you should definitely see it in cinemas because the sound is on point with that. Okay. Definitely go see it in a good cinema. Don't fuck around with IMAX. Just straight up cinema with some friends with some people. It's not jump scare like you've already mentioned. It's just a straight up scary film, perfect for Halloween. And when this film does come out on DVD, I will be watching it next Halloween.
Yeah. Well, I remember kind of what I was going to say. At some point when Tom Hiddleston, like Tom and like Lucille are talking, he says something. I can't remember what he said, but it was a reference at least to something. And I'm going to get future Ace to mention that at some point.
Okay,
if I find it out. If not, then I'm a liar. So
okay, fair enough. This film is perfect in its execution of subtlety. I guess I'll leave it at that for me.
It's definitely the homage to classic gothic horror that I think
without being too much, without being look how homage.
Oh no, but by this sort of homage, I mean he captured the style of it.
He did his own take and did it perfectly.
That's what an homage is.
It's an achievement. It's an achievement.
I mean, I think if this was a book written in that time, it would probably have cult following. That
I could imagine.
Dracula and Frankenstein did have.
It could very easily, and I also like the what do you call it? The subtle, almost fourth-wall referencing, and then the fact that she is a writer, and the fact that they were like, you got to add a love story in it, otherwise people won't see it.
Yeah, that was nice. It was
nice,
a little tip.
Nice
and the whole thing
of the hat.
The ghosts, they're a metaphor.
Yeah,
a metaphor for the past. Definitely something in the past there.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, that was our thoughts and reviews on Crimson Peak. We highly recommend it. And having said that, I'm going to pass it back to Future Raccoon.
And Future Ace.
Yeah, right, cool. All right, back to you. Good film, as we already stated in the past.
Really enjoyable. Thank you, Past Ace. I do remember exactly what I was going to say. When Tom is talking to Lucille, he says at one point, the things we do for love. And I think that directly mirrors Jaime Lannister and Cersei Lannister of Game of Thrones and A Song of Ice and Fire, which he says the same thing, the things we do for love, to protect his, spoiler, incestuous relationship.
And at the same time, I think it's also a reference to Courage the Cowardly Dog, because a lot of the time when he's saving Miru and Eustace, he says, the things I do for love.
Okay. That's fair. I just thought it tied together because both being incestuous relationship and both being them to protect it, they do something violent.
Sure. Alright. Spoilers over, so we're pretty much going to wrap up the podcast. And we're going to end it with the video of the week, which is going to be Swedish Chef Sings Chandelier. Obviously the very popular song by Sia.
Yeah.
And this video is not too long, but it's just great.
Also, guys, I really like this man's house. Like, I want it.
It's a good house. The original video, just as a bonus one, was going to be the... I forget if it was Nerdist or whoever they did the video about. You linked it to me about Jack Black singing about Goosebumps.
Oh, yeah.
It was just incredibly low budget and just terrible.
It was like the modern day equivalent to the Pokey Rap, but not nearly as fun.
The Pokey Rap is awesome because those guys actually have a beat and a flow.
But that's why I said not nearly as fun.
And you got to give those rappers props for rapping and talking about fictional beings.
Yeah.
How do you fucking... Even rappers today don't quite rap certain Pokemon names. I've seen other people go, I want a Pikachu, or he's like, I'm fire like Charmander and stuff like that. But it's always just them being stupid.
You know what it did kind of remind me of? You know the rap that was done for the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie?
Yeah, TMNT Power, was it? Yeah.
It's so bad.
It's not great.
It was hilarious.
No, it's...
I think, like...
it's cool in an ironic way, but, like...
Even that, I'd say Vanilla Ice is, like, better just because of how entertainingly bad that is.
Well, you don't like Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go.
Oh,
well, so...
I feel broken.
I guess we're really ending the podcast off on a dark note. So,
it's
pretty much...
spookiness.
I guess. So, plans for the rest of this month. There may be more videos up on this channel. We'll try and do another podcast, but we're not promising anything. But if not, we'll see you on the next podcast. This has been episode 22 of the Ferret and Raccoon podcast. I am the Angry Raccoon.
And I'm Ace.
And we'll see you on the next one.
Auf Wiedersehen.